as well. So we're going to start in the Yo bracket. And these graphics are going to be up on screen right here and now. We seeded only the top movie. That's the only one we've seeded. Every other movie has been seeded randomly. Except our play-in games and our number one seed. Our play-in games, Dylan and I voted on all of our total movies to see what we thought was the weakest and or what didn't necessarily fit. They went into a play-in game against the number one seed. So as you see on the Yo bracket, the number one seed is the docking sequence from Interstellar, and it's going to play the play-in game of the chariot chase from Ben-Hur or the stampede, wildebeest stampede from The Lion King. We have the stairway fight in Atomic Blonde versus the Bride and versus the Crazy 88s in Kill Bill Volume 1. Really interesting. We have the opening sequence of Baby Driver, that opening drive sequence, versus first Incredibles fight as a family in The Incredibles, which Dylan was very, very gung-ho about, saying it had to be in here. So we know a strong contender for Dylan.
I was the only one to fight for animation here.
Well, I didn't know if animation necessarily fit. However, I will say you already kind of turned my opinion after me rewatching The Lion King.
Yeah.
Again, it's got a juggernaut to play right away to see if it even gets into the 64.
Yeah, that's true. I'll admit that.
We have the truck chase sequence on the motorcycle versus the motorcycle in Terminator 2: Judgment Day versus we have the scene in Speed in which Keanu Reeves is trying to disarm the bomb while Sandra Bullock is trying to weave through the airport at the same time in Speed. Speed was a really difficult one, very much like Mad Max, in which what do you pick? Because everything is so rich there to pick from.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park, we have the T-Rex chase going up against the first fight for Ki Kwan in Everything Everywhere All at Once, where you kind of start first getting the idea of what this movie's about with different personalities from different worlds, things of that nature. Then we're going to the bear attack in The Revenant versus our 2v2 fight in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon with Chow Yun-Fat and Michelle Yeoh taking on our bad girl group in Crouching Tiger, Hidden. Then we're going to take it to two giant spectacle movies in The Gladiator, which we have the Tigress fight, where most famously the tigers appear against Maximus, and that's going up against the section of Helm's Deep from the Two Towers, most famous for the slide with Legolas sliding down the stairwell.
Mm-hmm.
Which is gonna be
not
fun.
The whole Helm's Deep.
That's not fair. Like I almost had that with Ben-Hur. We'll talk about that in a second. Where I was like, this is a long thing.
But, it is long.
But Helm's Deep is like an hour, so you can't just put Helm's Deep.
Yeah.
And then we have the kitchen fight in the Raid 2 going up against the minecart chase in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. And that is our Yo bracket. And our first matchup will be Ben-Hur versus the Lion King in the play-in game. Is there a matchup that you wanted to highlight in the Yo bracket? For the Yo division?
I think Gladiator versus Two Towers, that's a pretty good matchup.
I think that's a fun matchup. I like the spectacle, only 2 years apart from each other, similar usage of CGI and practical effects, which I like. I think that's pretty cool.
I have not seen the Raid 2, but I know it's supposed to be really good.
The scene itself is very cool. It's great action scene.
And that versus Temple of Doom sounds pretty good. And then Terminator 2 versus Speed, that's a good both like chase / driving sequences, so that's pretty good too.
It pains me that these two got put together. The one that actually intrigues me the most is Atomic Blonde versus Kill Bill Volume 1. We have two tremendous female protagonists in that.
I have not seen Atomic Blonde.
Atomic Blonde was one of those movies that I was like, yeah, I'll go see it. And it's got Charlize Theron, so how bad could it be? And Ab and I were floored at how much we loved that movie. And it's a great, great action spy thriller with a ton of fun. Because it came out right around the same time as John Wick, everyone's like, oh, it's the female John Wick. And admittedly, there's a lot of action sequences that you can kind of go, Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, I've seen part of the stairway sequence. So it does have that John Wick kind of feel to it.
So
So
it's just a shame that we're gonna have two super prominent women.
yeah,
They're
that's
gonna
true.
they're gonna take each other out, and that's how you can tell that this is random. This was not me screwing with the bracket at all. Because if it were me, I would have split them just so they had a better chance. Because I love
Yeah.
both those sequences very much. That is our Yo division bracket.